The purpose of this short video is to show some of the features that are available for annotating and displaying spatial data. I've logged on to the partners webpage here, and I'm going to click on Maps. The first item on the Maps menu that shows on this web page is Consolidated Mapping, and I'll click that, and that opens up a new window that takes us to the GeoCortex web-based mapping portal that we've seen in some of the previous videos. There's a disclaimer to click through, and there's outlines that are shown that I've talked about in previous videos. Under the Layers menu in the lower left, the default layer here in this case is Locations. I want to switch that to Boreholes. And you can see here the different categories of boreholes or wells. One comes on by default, flowing wells. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to zoom in on the map a little bit. And I'm going to click on bedrock wells. It's up towards the top of this list. The query is being run in the background. And now I can see as blue dots all the wells that are in the database that have been drilled to bedrock, shown as blue circles. Next to the bedrocks item on this menu on the left-hand side is a little arrow. I'm going to click on that, and it gives me some options for how I'm displaying these spatial locations. The third item on this list is turn on or off layer visualizations. I'm going to click on that. Right now I'm in the default way to show these data, but there's an option for custom layer style. Choose the symbology type. Right now I've just got a simple circle shown to represent the spatial data. There's an option for choosing an attribute to display or an image. I'm going to choose attribute here, and that gives me another drop-down menu, which gives me a list of the different fields in this particular query. Remember, I'm looking at a query that pulls up bedrock wells. So in this bedrock wells query, I want to scroll down to a field called elevation bedrock meters above sea level. So now I'll show you what there's some defaults that happen here. There's some color options and size and so on. There's the marker style, which we're looking at as circles, and then there's some color ranges here. But if I click on apply here at the bottom, I'm now looking at circles that are color-coded based on the value of the elevation of bedrock at that particular location. So lighter colored symbols are lower or deeper bedrock elevations, and darker symbols are higher bedrock elevations. And if I zoom out, you can start to see over here the ridge of the Niagara Escarpment, where bedrock is at a higher elevation, and then up here towards the Haliburton Highlands in the northwest, again higher bedrock elevations. And the Laurentian Channel, which starts up here towards the southern end of Georgian Bay, you can see lower bedrock elevations in this channel all the way down through Toronto to Lake Ontario. So now that I've got this, I'm going to zoom in again just on some area here. You can see I'm towards the center of that Laurentian Channel, where bedrock elevations are pretty low. The next thing I want to do here is go back to, well, I'll just go all the way back out. But remember this bedrock wells item under the layers menu. If I click on that arrow, I can go to customize labels. Do I want to show labels? Yes, I can apply, but let's go into this customize button first. I want to show the field. What do I want to show as the label? I can show the borehole depth or any of these different fields, again, that are coming right out of the database. I want to show that same elevation bedrock field and click apply. So now each of these symbols is showing the actual bedrock elevation. If I zoom out again, there's going to be a lot of data, so it'll be hard to read the numbers. But you can see how the lower numbers are lighter colors, the higher numbers are darker colors. So this can be really useful, and I'm going to zoom in again on a smaller area here. And the other thing I want to do now is along this blue menu along the top, I want to go to Tasks. And under Tasks, there's a layer catalog. On this layer catalog, we can look at the different layers that are part of this mapping portal. And one of them is called Geology. You can experiment with this on your own. But under Geology, there's a bedrock topography, and I'm going to choose the ORMGP bedrock topography. I can look at contour lines, but I actually want to show a color coded field. And now I'll zoom out here a bit. You can see this actual surface of the bedrock topography that's been interpreted by the ORMGP and its partners. The data that I was showing, the bedrock elevations now, is shown underneath this particular layer. You can kind of see it poking through in the southern tip of Lake Simcoe here. But what I want to do is go back to my layer menu. Remember where I started all of this, under bedrock wells, and click these little bars here, which allow me to either show the legend or change the layer drawing order. So I'm going to change the layer drawing order. Open that up. You can see, so I've got the geology theme, bedrock topography. I've got a locations theme, which is turned off. And I've got a boreholes theme. So this is on top. I want to move it down. I'm going to click on it over here and hit the down arrow to move it down in the order. By doing that, the boreholes theme comes up to the top and becomes visible. So what this allows you to do now is look at wells that reach bedrock, their actual elevations, and how that's been interpreted. So you should see lower elevations through these channels, which you can do, which you can see here. There's 100, 98 here, and so on. And you should see higher elevations up here when you're not in the lower part of these valleys, which you do. But it's important to remember too that these interpretive surfaces, there's a lot of other information and interpretation that goes into these surfaces, so it's not going to match exactly. That wraps up this quick little demonstration, and thanks for paying attention, and thanks for your interest in the ORMGP program, and we'll talk to you in the next video.